why you should not be messing with somebody else's soulmate. And 5 of those reasons are going to be about breadcrumbing, and 5 of those reasons are going to be about soul ties, and 5 of those reasons are going to be about breadcrumbing. And so basically, what a soul tie is, I have my notes out right here. A soul tie is a deep emotional, spiritual, or even physical bond that forms between 2 people, often through intimacy, deep emotional connection, or shared experiences. And I've talked about this in an episode a long time ago. Long ago. It was called Love or Lust. And basically, we talked about how whenever you sleep with somebody, you create a soul tie. Whenever you basically, and that's like very hard to get rid of. Very hard to get rid of. That creates a bond between the 2 of you that is basically unbreakable in the eyes of God. And this is not to cast shame on anybody. That's not what we're doing. We're just educating the threats of it, because as a woman, especially as a woman, once you create a soul tie, it is very hard to let that go, because we are emotional people, as we are. We are very emotional creatures. And there's 3 types of soul ties: emotional soul ties, physical soul ties, and spiritual soul ties. And a emotional soul tie is formed through deep conversations, vulnerability, and emotional support. Okay, let's stand by, because there's children. I don't know what's happening. And the second one, and secondly, there's physical soul ties, often created through, like I said, often created through sexual intimacy, as physical connection can bind people on a deeper level, which is literally the most true thing I've ever heard. Okay, great. I love that they're doing construction right now. This is super fun. And then our second thing, breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is when someone gives you just enough attention or affection to keep you interested but never fully commits to you. So, kind of like a situationship. If you're getting flashbacks of us talking about situationships, so am I. Because this is literally the episode where I literally did my first episode walking with my dog in the woods. And he's pulling me so much. Ace, chill out, bro. Like, chill. You're being so crazy. Okay, so why do people breadcrumb? I've experienced a lot of breadcrumbing, it feels like. Not even just in relationships, but that makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel like they can get your attention without wanting commitment from you. So it makes them feel like they're in control of you. And it's a manipulation tactic, which is not cool at all. It's like literally so not cool to do this. They like to have control over your emotions. And if somebody has control of your emotions, it's very hard to feel in control of yourself. I've experienced this a lot, and I'm still kind of experiencing this, letting go of that, because like people can breadcrumb you in multiple ways, not just relationships. They want to keep their options open. They like you, but they don't want to date you, court you, whatever you. I don't even know. There's just multiple ways that this can happen. And they're emotionally immature and lack relationship skills. Breadcrumbing creates false hope. It makes the victim believe that the person has potential, when in reality the person has no intentions of being with you, dating you. They've already made up their mind and they know what they want, and it's not you. So without further ado, now that you know what these definitions are, these are 10 reasons why you shouldn't engage in soul ties carelessly or breadcrumb somebody else, because doing this will keep you from finding your own soulmate. You will be messing with somebody else's soulmate, and that's not cool. So, number 1, like I kind of just said, you could be blocking your own soulmate. And every single moment that you spend engaging in soul ties, creating soul ties with somebody else, you are furthering that connection that was meant for somebody else, and that's your spouse. That's the truth. That's the way that God has it. And a lot of this world is very... Ace wants to sit. He said, I'm tired. A lot of this in this world, people will try to spend time with people with the wrong person. They will spend time with the wrong person, and they will avoid truly finding what's actually meant for them. And the way that you can actually avoid this is let the relationships that you're in speak for themselves. If your body is giving you physical reactions of like you're breaking out, you're more anxious around this person, not in a good way like butterflies, it's like anxiety. Like your heart is like, you're sweating, you literally have heartburn, your face is literally breaking out, like you have porcelain skin, but right now your skin is literally looks like freaking pizza exploded on it, because your body knows before the heart. And a lot of the times we won't listen to our body. And that is the first thing You have to prioritize your future over temporary satisfaction. And I think a lot of us forget to do that sometimes. Number 2, soul ties can keep you emotionally stuck, can keep you emotionally stagnant. And an unhealthy soul tie can make it literally feel impossible to move on. Soul ties are not just created through sex. They're created, like I said, physically, emotionally, mentally. There's spiritually. Like, you can become so close with a person and forget who you are. I've had this happen to me before. Whenever I was like, it's a long time ago, and I thought I was never gonna break free of this because this person had their hooks in me, and I lost sight of who I was. And this has happened to me like multiple times, like just becoming attracted to emotional, like I would just get swept up in these emotional soul ties where I would forget that this person actually doesn't want me. They're giving me signs. My body's giving me signs that they don't actually want me, but I see the best in people, sometimes to a flaw. And God made me soft-hearted, and I used to hate that about myself because I'm like, I don't want to be soft-hearted anymore. I want to be cold because people are just taking advantage of my niceness, and that's not cool at all. And a way to avoid that, be mindful of who you allow deep access to you. Set boundaries within yourself. Boundaries for me have been hard. I've never been good at setting boundaries for myself. I always let people walk all over me and tell me what to do because I don't like conflict. I hate conflict. I hate when people are mad at me. So trying to appease everyone, and even if that means not even appeasing myself, I will allow it to happen because I want to see everyone else happy. I want everyone else to be happy around me before myself. And that's not okay. That's people pleasing. That is toxic for yourself. You're just going to draw yourself into a hole whenever you do this. And it's not good if you're trying to live a healthy, happy life. You have to know who has deep access to your emotions and your body, and be smart about who you give your time to. If a relationship is inconsistent, don't form a deep attachment in hopes that it will change, because the truth is, like I said last time, you can't fix him, you can't fix them, you can't fix her. You should not be trying to fix anybody. The only person that you should be working on is yourself, because ultimately we're all a project trying to better our lives, but at the end of the day, you are not responsible for fixing somebody else, and that's not fair to get into a relationship with somebody expecting to completely change them, because they will start to resent you. They will literally start to resent you. You will become very inconsistent as well, and that's not good either. Number 3, breadcrumbing is literally emotional manipulation. Breadcrumbing is emotional manipulation, and whenever you're doing this to somebody, you are messing with somebody else's soulmate because you know that you don't want to be with them. Or if somebody's doing this to you, they are literally messing with you in a way that can do a lot of damage, a lot. And if somebody is breadcrumbing you, they're using psychological tactics to keep you interested while never offering real commitment. It's kind of basically, in a way, a situationship, but not fully. It's even more psychological. I'm lost. I don't know where we're going. Watch out for inconsistency. If someone only reaches out to you when it's convenient for them, that is breadcrumbing. I hate to break it to you, Bessie, but if they truly needed you, they would also you to need them. It would be a mutual beneficial arrangement. However, they are using psychological tactics to basically control you, and they're playing games with you. And number 4, playing with somebody's feelings. I'm a big person on energy. Energy is everything. Good energy, I think, always comes back to you. So if you have good energy, you're doing good in the world, you're gonna get that back. Like, you're gonna receive that back. If you're giving bad energy to people, you are also gonna receive that back. Karma is a freaking beach, you know? She will get you. You can create bad karma for yourself if you breadcrumb somebody. And if somebody's breadcrumbing you, this is just gonna take you longer to meet your soulmate. It's keeping you from your soulmate, actually. If somebody's knowingly leading you on without the intention of following through, that energy will come back to you when you least expect it, in ways that are not even predictable at all, okay? So it may seem like, you may be like, but Elle, like, the guy who breadcrumbed me is like freaking married now. Well, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't freaking know. Like, social media is a facade. Everything that you see online is most likely fake. Some things that people post, most of the things that people post is a highlight reel. And how to avoid this? How to avoid letting bad karma reach you, be honest with people. If you don't want to commit to them, don't waste their time. Don't waste their time. Don't waste somebody else's time because you were bored. It's not freaking cool. Can we stop normalizing this? Like, hookups are a big reason for this. You're wasting somebody's time. One person is gonna get invested, the other person isn't. Because that's how it usually goes. I've seen it so many times. I have friends who go through that, and I've said this multiple times. I'm not a hookup person. I get too emotionally attached, and so I've never been able to do that. Number 5, toxic soul ties can lower your self-worth tremendously. And staying emotionally tied to someone who treats you like garbage is literally gonna make you feel like you don't deserve good. Like, you feel like you're gonna get so used to this situation that you're gonna forget that, like, there's actually people who wouldn't do this to you, and it's gonna become so normal to you that you're gonna forget that there are good people out there who want to care for you without trying to emotionally manipulate you. There's somebody good out there who wants to be there for you, but if you can't be there for yourself, good luck, Charlie. Like, that's for real. That's the truth. How to avoid this? Does this person bring out the best in me? Is this person's energy good for me? Because if their energy is like bringing me down constantly, and I'm constantly wondering, oh my God, is he freaking texting other girls? I'm stalking his socials to see what he's doing. I'm checking his following. And literally I've done this. I've literally done this. And you feel like you're you feel like you're emotionally flatlining because you literally become like a detective. I've literally done detective work before because I was emotionally invested into somebody who was breadcrumbing me. And it's really hard because you start to feel crazy. You literally start to go crazy. I was literally going crazy. And how to avoid this? Does this person bring out the best in me? If the answer is no, cut that off immediately because it's just gonna do more harm than good. If the answer is no, cut the ties. Cut the ties as quickly as you can. Literally as quickly as possible, because the quicker, the sooner, the better. And the more time, number 6, the more time you waste on somebody, the longer it's gonna keep you away from what's actually meant for you. God in this life doesn't want us to suffer. But a lot of the times, we bring suffering upon ourselves because of the people we choose to invest energy into, whenever we really should be investing into ourselves. I see a lot of, I would be so happy in my life if I just had somebody. You literally have had yourself this whole time. Do you even know yourself? Do you literally even know yourself enough to say that truly? Because like, if you actually did get to know yourself, there would be things that you would probably realize, I don't even want a relationship at this point in my life because there's so many things that I could be doing to better myself before I meet this person. Because like X, Y, and Z, I need to do this before I meet my person because if I don't fix this, it's gonna just cause damage in the future. Like for me, what do I need to do before I get in a relationship? I need to set boundaries. I need to set better boundaries. I need to be stronger in my boundaries because a lot of the times I will crumble. Because if I really, really like somebody and they don't align with my morals, but I really, really like them, I might let my morals crumble. I might fall off the deep end for a second. I might crash out because I'm like, but I really like this person. And that's the old toxic L that we don't want. And so I feel like truly God has let me be alone for this season of my life because he knows that if I've gotten a relationship right now with somebody who doesn't actually align with the things that are planned for God in my life, then it's just gonna crash and burn. And I promise you, it's literally already happened multiple times. Multiple times, a lot of my exes were, not the best. And you live and you learn, and that's okay. But how do you avoid this? If someone's actions don't align with their words, cut that off. Cut them off. Stop waiting for them to change. Move on. Because if you were already seeing these signs in the beginning, just imagine what it's going to be like later down the line. Like, you can't expect people to change. They're not going to change for you. It's only going to gradually get worse, and that's the freaking truth. Like, if they are emotionally draining you right now, imagine if you actually married this person. Imagine if you had a child with this person. Do you want that for your child? Do you want that to be the child's father? Do you want that to be your child's mother? No. If you wouldn't want this done to your child, then why are you letting it be done to you? That's another freaking way to get rid of that. Number 7, soul ties can and will cloud your judgment. This one's kind of piggybacking off of what I just said because they have clouded my judgment. They kind of mess up your morals a little bit. If you are in a soul tie deep enough, you can compromise your morals. Point blank period. You will compromise your morals because you have such a strong psychological, physiological bond to this person that you may forget who you are if you haven't done so already. And that's happened to me. And it took me a long time to heal those traumas. And those deep emotional bonds can blind you to the red flags whenever you think it's all green, but you're literally standing at a carnival scene. Like, what the hell? You're literally at a carnival right now and all there is red flags, but you literally have selective vision. Like, you're acting colorblind right now, but you literally, it's all red. You know the song I See Red? Yeah, this applies to this situation fully. And how to avoid this? Take a step back and analyze. You have to think like a man. I made a whole other episode about this too. Like, men are very logical. Women, we are emotional, and that's fine. But men, whenever we handle problems differently. As women, we think about things very emotionally. We think, oh my gosh, how is this gonna make me feel later on? What is this gonna look like for my future? Is this person gonna still love me? Yada, yada, yada. And men are like, how do we fix this problem logically? What can I do to change the situation right now so it's gone soon? Ace, come on. The question is, are you being treated with respect and consistency, or are you literally feeding into the worst version of yourself? Because that's what soul ties do if it's with the wrong person. Soul ties can be something so beautiful, but this world is so backwards nowadays, and it's so countercultural to create positive, healthy soul ties that it almost feels like not even instinct at this point, because the world tells us something completely different, and that's not your fault. Let me pause with everything I'm saying and say that the way that you're feeling is not your fault. You're not crazy. You're not stupid. I felt all of the above for these things, for literally stalking people's socials, like boys that I've talked to, not men, because men would not do this. A real man of God. There's a difference between men and men of God, and a man of God would not do this to you. A man of God would protect your heart and not allow you to get psychologically, emotionally invested if they're not actually truly down for you. And that's the truth. A true man or a true woman is going to communicate their feelings properly with you. And if they don't, then freaking cut that off. We don't have time for that. That is garbage, and that's not cool at all. Number 8, breadcrumbing, as well as soul ties, can very much damage your emotional health. And we already kind of talked about this. I feel like we're kind of going in circles a little bit, but like honestly, all of these points are important. So we're just gonna do it. When someone strings you along, like I said, your body will have physical reactions. It'll create anxiety. It'll create insecurity, and that will literally show in y'all's relationship or whatever this is. And it'll create self-doubt, and you will ultimately start doubting like literally every single decision, it feels like. Whenever I was going through this, I was literally doubting every single decision I was making. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to actually do in these situations because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even trust myself anymore. And how to avoid this, don't invest your energy into somebody who doesn't match your effort, okay? Don't invest your energy into somebody who doesn't match your effort. If they're inconsistent, disengage with this person, emotionally detached, take 10 steps back. Because if you are seeing these signs happening right now, it's going to get worse in the future. It's not gonna get better. You can't expect, if somebody's showing you who they are right now, take that blessing and run with it, okay? That is not rejection, that's God's protection. I literally made a whole other episode on that too. Just because you got rejected does not mean it's the worst thing in the world. It's literally protection. God is protecting you from something that you cannot see. Think about I was literally in the sauna today, and this girl, she was awesome. She was listening to a true crime episode, and I was like, she paused it whenever I got in. I was like, no, queen, don't pause it. I want to freaking hear. Distract me for 10 minutes with your true crime episode while I'm dying in the sauna with you. Like, let's go. So then, like, we bonded and talked about that. And then we listened to the freaking true crime. And it was talking about how this guy in, like, the 1970s, I don't even know his name, he, like, won this dating show and blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, think about all of the girls or women who were so upset that they didn't even get to go on a date with this man. But little did they know he was literally a serial killer. So can you imagine like what those women felt like after seeing that and thinking that this guy's the most perfect guy in the world? Because a lot of people, a review from his teachers were like, yeah, this man would not hurt a fly. Okay, a lot of times people will put up a front, and if you're really smart, you can see through that. but sometimes it's really hard to. Sometimes it's really, really hard to see somebody's front. And sometimes it may take a while for them to have a moment where you're like, that wasn't it. That was not it. Like, did this person really just say that out loud? Like, what an odd thing to say. Like, what the hell? What are you trying to say right now? What are you trying to insinuate? And whenever those moments happen, I'm like, oh, thank you, God, for like revealing this to me at this point in time, because I cannot imagine if I didn't see this until months down the road. Can you imagine like what would have happened? You literally cannot. And number 9, unhealthy attachments can be harder to break later. Like I've been saying, if you are emotionally attached to something that isn't feeding your soul in a positive way right now, just imagine how much worse it's going to get down the line. Like literally, all of these things are just circling back to each other. They all feed off of each other, because every single thing I've said is the truth. Like, it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And if you are seeing signs of things that aren't good right now, it's not going to get better, baby. I promise you that. It's not going to get better. If they are emotionally manipulating you right now, gaslighting you, breadcrumbing you, creating soul ties with you, but don't see a future with you, that is not healthy. That is not good. And it's better to cut those ties earlier when you see those red flags and stop ignoring the red flags. I would literally ignore red flags because I was like, oh, maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe I'm just the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too judgmental. But no, you're not too judgmental. You just have high standards for yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. And one day there will be somebody who matches your standards, but until then, you need to be by yourself, because it's not worth it. I literally promise you, it is not worth it. You're gonna be thanking yourself down the road whenever you realize, oh my gosh, I literally thank God, because this person was freaking crazy. And how to avoid this: cut the ties early. Oh my gosh, Ace, how did you get through this? You have to cut ties. Distance yourself from this person whenever things start getting deep and confusing. If you're confused, I promise you they aren't confused. I promise you, baby, they're not confused. They know exactly what the hell they're doing, okay? Let's say that. Let's say that. This person's creating a soul tie with you and has no intention of being your partner for life. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't care, though. They don't care how you feel. And that's the hard truth. Somebody has to tell you, and it's gonna be me, because I wish somebody would have told me this. If you keep staying with this person, it's gonna literally destroy you, okay? If you somehow stumbled upon this podcast, and this is your first one, woo, baby, I hope you freaking walk away. Or I hope you realize that the damage that this person is doing to you, and you're not too far gone to leave this situation. And you, last but not least, you deserve a love that feels certain, that feels real, that feels authentic. And none of this is authentic. None of the signs that you've been seeing from this person, the breadcrumbing, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the self-doubt, the insecurity, the physical symptoms that are literally being showed to you, manifested in your body, that your body is literally trying to react and tell you that it's literally rejecting this person. Like, your body will literally reject people. Like, if you start breaking out when you're dating somebody, babe, why are you breaking out? You should be glowing, actually. You should be glowing. Because whenever you're truly in love with somebody and it's healthy and it's good, you glow. You become a better person. You heal. You light up. And people can see that whenever you're truly happy. But whenever you're in a relationship that starts off happy and then it slowly becomes tarnished, it's harder to see that, because you start to be like, well, I remember the good times in the beginning. What about those times? And then you start to hold out for hope for them to be like that in the beginning. You're like, well, in the beginning, they were like this. In the beginning, he would be like this. In the beginning, she was like this. But that's not now. That was then. This is now. And this person is showing you that they are not authentic and they don't truly value you in the way that you value them. And you deserve somebody who has the same mutual love for you, genuine love for you, and secure love. None of this that they're showing you is secure. It feels like a guessing game, and it shouldn't feel like you're about to freaking play Monopoly and then end up in jail, okay? It shouldn't feel like that. It should feel like something good, something well-earned, something valuable, not something that is leaving you guessing every single day. And how to avoid it: you just need to wait for somebody who's sure about you. And if you aren't sure about yourself, this is also something Why are you trying to go into a relationship? If you are not sure about yourself, stop it. Let these people go. Stop messing with somebody else's soulmate. If you are not sure what you want or what you want your life to look like, you don't even have to be sure of what you want your life to look like, but you just need to have enough self-love to not expect this person to fill a void in your life. Because if you have a void and you're expecting somebody to fill it, I can tell you now, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You need to realize that if they're inconsistent, they're not your person. If they're inconsistent, they're not your person. And how do you stop the breadcrumbing and the soul ties? Acknowledge the toxic bond. Acknowledge that this is a real thing and that it's hard. But you can overcome it. You can let it go. You will be okay. I've gone through this, and I felt like I was never going to become a version of me that I wanted to be again. But now my standards are literally so high because I have been through I've had a bad track record. Let's just say that, okay? I've crashed out with guys, okay? I literally let them control me because I didn't have proper boundaries. I didn't have enough self-love to say no. I didn't know how to stand up for myself. And now that I do, I don't put up with that because I don't deserve that. Because there is somebody out there who will love me. I've seen it. And it's myself. I've seen it. I've literally healed all of this by putting all of these things that these stupid boys did to me and put it into self-love. Whether that's going to the gym, doing a podcast, journaling, talking to my friends, like going on a walk. All of these things, going on solo dates, like all of these things are things that you can do out of self-love. And self-love doesn't just occur overnight. Self-love is a journey. It's an uphill battle because sometimes you're like, what the frick? I don't even love myself. But you will get there. And that's the number one thing. And when you breadcrumb somebody or entertain somebody with no real intention, you're interfering with what's truly meant for you and for them. So don't be somebody's distraction or allow yourself to be one as well. Instead, respect your future enough to walk away from what isn't aligned for you. And love should be clear, consistent, and mutual. If it's not, it's not for you. And that is all I have to say today, you guys. I truly love you guys so much. I've walked around these woods park thing like 3 times because I was trying to limit interaction with other people seeing me do this because I don't want people in my podcast. I mean, there's already some children who saw this, but it's fine. Guys, you deserve somebody who's gonna love you for you and not try to change you. And you deserve to stop trying to change people as well. It feels like it takes a lot of practice to heal these things, but with really good friends and with the knowledge I just shared with you, you can too overcome this. It's not impossible. It's gonna be hard. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. And that's all I have to say today. I love y'all so much. If this was your first episode, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for continually supporting me, you guys. Every single time I meet somebody who says that they listen to my podcast, I literally feel like we're best friends because this is like me sharing my heart with you. This is me sharing a lot of hurt with you that I've healed from, but still hurt. And I'm kind of putting that out for the world because like I said last episode, turn your pain into purpose. And I have had a really bad track record with guys, but it's also allowed me to be able to help other people who may be going through something similar or even worse. So with that, guys, thank you so much. And I post new episodes every Friday. If you are just now entering the villa, a new hot bombshell has entered the villa, it's you. Thank you for entering the villa. And guys, that's all I have. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast make sure you follow my podcast on Spotify. Make sure if you wanted to watch the video episodes, make sure you follow it on Spotify. Or if you want to watch it on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I will link that all down below. And it's also on Apple, Amazon, basically all of the platforms. You can't miss it. I post new episodes every Friday. And with that, I will see you guys next Friday. Okay, love you, bye!